A circle full of dogs. We put in the work. Let's go out there with a bunch of crazy dogs.
Bam! What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk about Giants football. Yes, 52 weeks of the year. We're here every week. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's combine time. Like, this is where, like, all those big dudes get to wear a lot of spandex and run around without getting arrested, right? This is like the time where these guys can be, like, half naked and just get out there and show why they should be drafted in the NFL in 2024. There's always some overhyped players. There's some underhyped players. There's dudes breaking all sorts of 40 records. And then there's guys that, hey, mum's the word. I'm not even talking at the combine. So lots to talk about. Appreciate you guys heavily cranking up the views on Paul Dottino, Patty Traina, Justin Pugh. In case you guys haven't been around, I know everybody's got a crazy work schedule, but we've been crushing the interviews every week. Today, we just got in the boys. I got Shawnee B, Joker's in the house, and of course, I got Nails himself. Chris is here, so we can talk a little combine. So I hope you guys are tuning in. I know I see you guys starting to pile in the room. Chris Peace, I hope you're dropping in. He just dropped me something about, of course, what Rich Eisen's talking about, what they're hearing, like all sorts of stuff. Some of it's true. Some of it's not. Some of you are off the wall, still love you with all your craziness, and want to talk about some combine stuff that's kind of like almost like not at the combine, but off the field at the combine, like what's kind of happened with these pro days and so forth. So let's bring in the boys. Shawnee, what's up?
What's going on, Craig? How we doing, man?
Dude, I haven't seen you so long. I forgot what you look like.
I know, right?
I know. I'm
fired
sorry
up
about that.
It's all right. I get it.
Well, dude, this is where like the rubber hits the road, right? Like this is where like the new year starts, Sean. Like we actually kind of get like you start putting some pieces in line, right? Like we're not just guessing anymore because now we've got a better idea what not only are we hearing a lot of crazy stuff, but with our own eyes, we actually got to see everybody in the room at the same time.
Yeah, it's nice. And just, Giants related, hearing what we're hearing, what they're looking at, guys are considering. It's nice. You haven't heard a lot of this in the past. So it tells me they're in the right direction, at least if you're hearing who they're looking into. So I like that.
Love it. Let's bring Chris in. Bang. Cruz.
Hey, Craig. Hey, Shawnee.
What's up, my New Jersey brethren? What's going on out there? Dude, like we live for this stuff, so we're gonna break it down. I'm sure you've all either watched all the combine, some of the combine, maybe you guys watch certain position groups. A lot of cool stuff to talk about. Shout out to all you guys piling in. I see Brad, I see Joe, I see Crypto or Jay, depending on who he is today. I see Mark. I see Elite 4 Master Will. Woo-hoo, that is a mouthful, my friend. I see Cold, always, a staple. And I see some other guys rolling in now. So thanks for joining Giants Rush. By the way, we do have a kick-ass store on nygiantsrush.com. Again, you want to wear something different, or maybe you want to rock some cool gear that we have. We've got, the Crystal Skull. We've got the King Rush skull. We got all sorts of stuff in there. Plus just the Rush stuff that Spartan Mike gave us the idea to say, hey, they don't want to rock the skull. What else do we have? So we got plenty of stuff in there. If you guys want to check out nygiantsrush.com, articles up there. If you tool around in there, you'll find photos and pictures. You'll find videos. You'll find podcasts, interviews, all sorts of stuff up in there. Always check that out if you're looking to get more in-depth articles. The Truth writes a lot of what's on the website because, as Chris and Sean will tell you, like, this is what Mike lives for. He just eats and sleeps combine to draft. Like, that's his thing. Like, if you want to know about the backup safety from Coastal Carolina, I guarantee you he can tell you about his 40 time and what he eats for breakfast. All right, gentlemen, lots to talk about. Let's just start off with the combine itself, right? The combine itself. I wanted to kind of get this off my chest. There's a lot of talk out there about how the combine. Sean, let me ask you a question. Is the NFL combine an NFL event? Yes or no?
Yes, it is.
Chris, is the NFL combine a NFL event?
In more ways than one, yes.
Yes. Well, I want to know, gentlemen, why and how the agents get to run what actually happens on the field. Okay. This year, more than ever, it's getting sickening that agents are not only are they telling their athletes not to perform and to, and to contribute to the event, they're not even allowing them to talk to people. Don't talk to media. Don't talk to coaches. Don't even interview. Like, when did this become, gentlemen? Sean, I'll start with you. Yeah. When did this become a NFL agent? They're hijacking this event, and it's annoying at a whole nother level. I get it. First handful of picks, want to make sure they don't ruin their draft stock, right? So they want to throw to receivers that are their buddies, and they want their comfy cleats. You know what I mean? And they want their the grass and the turf to be perfect, whatever. They want to be, bougie divas, whatever. But now we've got all sorts of guys not working out or not even talking to the media. Sean, what's up with that?
I mean, I think my personal opinion is when the NFL turned it into a business opportunity and a moneymaker, the agents, the players, they're getting hip to this now. And like, all right, I'm gonna treat it for what it is. You guys are going to make a money maker. You're going to make it a business. I'm going to treat it like a business. And guys, they're money in hand or looking for money, and they're going to make sure they put themselves in the best light possible. I think it's crazy, but again, NFL, they're all about making their money right now, extending things and doing that. So I think agents and players are just responding in kind. That's my opinion.
Well, here's the thing, Cold and Jay are giving me crap. I'm not. I mean, the players though are cool. Like the players like doing the interviews, and they want to show their brand, right? Players want to get out there and say, hey, I'm definitely something a team wants to get behind. I feel like the agents kind of just hijack the event. You know what I mean? Like, I want the players to shine. Like, let them interview. Let the players, let the public see them, right? See their personalities and stuff like that, right?
Well, one thing I'll say, Craig, is that when you talk about people who didn't like, and this is what impressed me about Caleb Williams, he stayed throughout the entire event. Even though he didn't do anything, he did do interviews or whatever, but he was there down on the field with guys. He stayed till the end. He was there. So like things like that, if you're not going to do drills and stuff, being around there gives me, again, that was a positive for me, at least for him.
Chris, jump in, because Sean brings up a great point. Like, some of these guys will come, they'll talk to the media, they'll interview, they'll do the medicals, right? Mm-hmm. That's cool. I mean, I think Marvin Harrison's agent told him not even to talk to the teams.
Yeah, and here's a startling fact. I think it was only 22% of the participants even did the bench press. But when you look at the origins of the combine back in the 80s, it was strictly for medicals. It was a central location where all the draftees could be at one place and they can get medically examined. Then you look at the age of free agency in the 90s. That brings the agents now to this combine where behind the scenes, using the middleman and going through other people, you have all the GMs in one place, and now you have all the agents in one place. And besides talking about the draft, they're also talking about the guys who are about to hit the street and the behind-the-scenes deals that are already being worked on before free agency next week hits. So the culmination of that, plus these guys that are going to hit the draft, makes it a big mishmash of everything and anything happening at the combine.
Yeah, I just I'm sure teams are disappointed that they don't get to see guys perform. I'm sure there's a handful of those guys, Chris, that want to throw or want to do drills, right? But they're told not to.
Well, here's the question, right? Are they going to really improve their stock much more than what it is? Maybe it is better off in their eyes of the agent to sit out, where the guys that need to raise their stock are the ones that are going to go out there and do all the drills, is because they want to rise.
Yeah, it's a great point. Nobody wants to slide from pick 18 to pick, 62, right? Like I get it.
And that's why these guys are all going to throw at their pro days. They're going to have their guys, like you were saying. They're going to have their receivers that they want to throw to from their team or from their school.
Yeah. I just never been a big fan of like just how, I don't know, how more soft can we get? I'm like,
It's changed, man. It is. Yeah.
Come on already. It's like Christmas. Tell me, I'm gonna start watching rugby. Seriously. All right. Combine guys. Give me your what's up, Brad? Glad that you're here. Give me Sean. How about a recap overall, 10,000-foot view? What was your opinion of of the combine?
There was a lot of fast guys across all positions. It was amazing what these guys were doing. Yeah, like and some guys that like stood out that like Lad McConkey, for example, did not expect his 40 time at all.
No, who knew that dude's like Cooper Kupp in the waiting, right? Like, he's out there looking like Stephon Diggs, and you're like, he's kind of overshadowed, but with what do you call it on the same team as what's his name? Bowers. But like, you're right. All these dudes are flying.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the D linemen with their 40 times, the linebackers, the edge rushers. I mean, it was nuts. So that stood out to me. The drills, I watched a lot more of the drills because that told me a lot too. So some guys that kind of hurt themselves and like the receiving and running back gauntlet drills, like Troy Franklin looked terrible in that gauntlet drill. Like he couldn't do on a straight line and stuff. So be interesting to see like how many guys the evaluators look at them and rise them up or lower them based on some of those drills there. So,
Chris, anything to add there? Anything like jump out of you beside the mind-blowing speed that everyone is just? I'm shocked how fast these cats are.
Was it Fontenot, the offensive lineman for Washington, and then Fuega, also the offensive lineman? I mean, all these offensive linemen seem they could move. But Fuega's intriguing just because when you hear of his background, he's projected to be more of a guard and probably the best blocker in the draft out of all the offensive linemen. He's projected to be switched over to guard. So just a guy to keep an eye on. But just his lateral movement may not be quick enough for the NFL game. So if all the talk at the combine saying this guy is going to be probably the best guard or the best blocker in the draft is Fuega.
All right.
Which is interesting for the Giants because if he were to slip to that second round, the Giants have one of those two picks. I really anticipate them with one of those two picks from Seattle going guard at that spot.
So then let's stay on that track, Chris. Give me like maybe a underhyped player, which may be Fuega, like depending on how you look at it. Give me an underhyped or an overhyped player, like someone that like Sean list. That guy I thought he would do better. Anything that jumped at you, overhyped, underhyped?
It's tough to say with these, strictly on offensive line.
Any position.
Well, like with this, I think you were saying the shuttle with Franklin, Sean.
Yeah,
that was kind of a disappointment with Troy. So I probably agree with Sean on that. That was a little bit of a disappointment.
Anything, Sean, jump out you? Someone that's just totally overhyped that just you can't deal with it with another second of it, or maybe somebody like you just said, like McConkey, underhyped.
Yeah, who really Theo Thomas, the tight end from Penn State, like his numbers he put up and what he was doing, like that guy was a beast. So I mean, there was a number of players, but those are a couple that kind of stood out to me. Jalen Wright out of Tennessee really killed the combine, and you look at his tape, you look at what he averaged in college, and I don't think he's getting enough hype as somebody coming out. He drew Alvin Kamara comps. That's a pretty good comp to have there. So. Couple names that I throw out there, Craig.
I got to tell you one.
Excuse me, Craig. Just to double up on what Sean's saying, I really like Brian Thomas, the other receiver out of LSU on the other side of Neighbors. I thought he, playing under the shadow of a Neighbors, I thought he showed pretty well with his 40 and plus catching the ball and running routes. Seemed like he was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Mel's and Tuto showing up a little bit late, but we're glad you are here. Mark Thompson, same thing. Glad you're here. Mark B, glad you guys are all here. I got to tell you one that man, I hate to say, like, you get a man crush on a dude over the combine because people, you're supposed to totally like know about these guys in advance. And, you're not allowed to like a guy that much who just runs around in shorts and a t-shirt. Right. But I got, and again, and I'm not I'm a Big Ten guy, right? I'm a Big Ten guy. So I don't get to watch a lot of these SEC schools. Man, do I really like, I tweeted it out I think on Saturday. That Jared Verse is the bomb. That dude is so big and so fast. Everything he does it well. Like, you look at all his peers, right? And he just runs like a man. Like, I mean, like, everything he does is like just impressive. Like, some guys you look, they're a little bit slow out of their stance, right? Their first step's not great. Some guys are slightly awkward, you know what I mean, when they're going horizontal, right? In those horizontal drills. You can see some guys don't rip around that cone and, like bending the edge. They don't do it. For a big dude, again, I'm not a Florida guy, but and I wanted to see, because they were talking about him not being originally a Florida State guy. He actually was a transfer from Albany, which blows my mind, right? I mean, because they started talking about him, like, man, this guy reminds me of Ed Oliver from the Bills, like perfect comp, everything about him. But he did everything better than everyone else there. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I know he's going to be he's probably going to be the first, D tackle off the board, maybe second. But I mean, I don't get it. I mean, and again, I'm only saying this because I'm not an SEC guy, so I'm sure they're hyping him all over the place, right? But guys, this guy is really good. Like, he's a man. Like, he's as pro ready. And like I said, I'm probably turning the waterfall on a little too much, but it just was noticeable that he get it. And I know Snacks. I know he's an edge rusher in college. I don't know if a man that big is going to stay on the outside. Yeah, they're totally, Jay. Dude was awesome. So I don't know, Snacks. It's a really good point. I don't know if they'll keep him on the outside. He's really thick and really big, So I don't know. Yeah, I guess he could be a good 4-3 D end, 100%. But I bet at his side, let me look up his weight, because they're going to put 15, 20 pounds on that dude.
His speed, though, was
good, right?
He was right in the range for what edge rushers needed. Because they were given, like, when you were watching it, they were telling you what, like, the top 10 pass rushers did last year between the 10-yard split and the 40, and he was right in that range from what I remember.
So they got him listed at 265, right? At 265, that dude maybe play at 260 this year, but year 2, year 3, that dude's 275, right? Like, I just don't know. I mean, even Strahan in the later years was playing at 255, after he tore that bicep. So either way, that guy's going to be a really good player.
Yeah, his teammate made some money at the combine too. Braden Fisk.
Yeah,
he moved himself up.
Yeah. So, all right, that's cool. I just wanted to see if you guys had anything that stuck out of you. And Sean, thanks for bringing up the McConkey thing. I didn't see that. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't either. And then you combine that with what he does as a route runner, and he killed that gauntlet drill. Absolutely killed it. And he runs a 4.43 or whatever he ran there. Like, that's crazy. So he's gonna move up, man. That guy's blew me away.
Like I said, he reminds me a little bit of Diggs. Like that style. I mean, yeah, you could comp him like Cooper Kupp because he's white, but he does tend to run really good routes. I find, like I said, like first thing I saw him was like, I'm like, he's got a lot of He's got a lot of digs in him, you know. But where Diggs likes the longer stuff, you know, mid range, he'll grind underneath McConkey, you know. So was really cool to see him too. All right, let's talk about the quarterbacks. What did you guys like? What didn't you like? Because I was reading some Kurt Warner and stuff like that, and he had a lot of good points on how they really don't challenge the quarterbacks anymore at the combine. Like, they're all about, like, if he completed a throw, everyone's like, "Woo!" But it might not have been a great throw. It just the guy caught it. You know what I mean? Like, so Chris, I'll start with you. Like, what's your thought? Who did you like? Did you like, JJ? Did Penix and JJ seem to get the best 2 grades coming out?
You just said it, Craig. I'm going to go right with you. I mean, McCarthy's kind of growing on me a bit. I had to say it. I mean, the weight scares me at the NFL level, but he is growing on me. I'm not saying I want the Giants to take him at 6. And Penix, I mean, his medicals obviously have checked out. And boy, I'm interested to see if Penix he falls to the 2nd round. I don't know if he will, but I'm just Penix and McCarthy. I thought did really well considering those. They were throwing and did all the drills.
They don't really, like I said, they don't really challenge him, Chris, that much to really do a whole lot. Like I would have liked to seen more of a route tree. You know what I mean? More like just can you pump outside and then toss the ball up top, right?
Yeah.
Or can you throw to the opposite sideline? You know what I mean? Just something different.
Yeah, I'm big on the hash marks because in the NFL game, the hash marks are closer than they are in college. So I'd like to see more of those outside throws, more times, more reps. But I mean, is it because they don't want to throw because they're not working with these guys on a daily basis and they want to limit mistakes because they're just not in sync with the receivers running those routes? I don't know. That's why I feel like the pro day, these guys are throwing more at the pro day than they do at the actual combine.
Yeah. Without a doubt, they are ready and prepared to throw the whole route tree at their pro day, no doubt.
Maybe eventually they'll be allowed to bring the guy they want to throw to. Maybe that's something to consider. Hey, bring whoever you want to throw to for the combine.
Yeah, like I'm sure, like if you're out there throwing to your own guy over and over again, you're going to look a lot better than throwing to the guy from Tulsa. You know what I mean?
You know when he's cutting, when he's breaking, when he's coming into his route, when he's making the putting the foot in the ground. I mean, you just got to think there's more confidence knowing who they're throwing to. I mean, you always hear about the chemistry right in practice. Well, he hasn't thrown to him. They're just trying to get on the same page together. All those off-season workouts, So,
Sean, talk to me about the same thing. What'd you think of the quarterbacks? There were a couple other guys that threw well. What do you call it?
Rattler?
I mean, Rattler looked okay. Like I didn't like again.
He did all right. Pratt from Tulane looked really good. He was making some good throws. I think for me, a lot of it was I'm watching how the ball comes out of their hand, the footwork. I'm looking at those things, not necessarily completions, incompletions, because you don't know the speed of the receiver. Like a couple throws that weren't caught, but it was the receiver slipped out of his break. He didn't get to the right spot, so can't really judge on that. But you want to see again what they're doing with their footwork, how the ball comes out of their hand. And those deep throws, that's a show off. Like you're not going to complete a lot of those at the combine because you don't know these guys' speed. So then you're going to get more air on the ball. Yep. People are going to get wowed by this, but you can't judge incompletions and completions at the combine. You want to look at the detailed stuff for me. But I thought Pratt did good. I thought JJ did look good there. Penix is just, man, he throws the best ball. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And I know Mark is bringing up who's going to protect his blind side. Well, that's for Shane and them to figure out, right? Like if he determines that he's the best guy, like you'll figure it out. You'll make it happen, and we can't base it off of what happened under Bobby Johnson for 2 years. I know now I'm giving the line a break until we see this offseason. But yeah, I thought to me, Penix is the best thrower in the group without a doubt.
And look, I was really on the Penix train until I started thinking about, while I know he's healthy and he passed and all that great stuff. What's up, Darius? Glad to see you jumping in. My issue with Penix now just becomes is it a matter of time before something else goes? he's not just had a little bit of an injury history. He's got a long injury history. Can the New York Giants afford to have their starting quarterback and their backup quarterback have a laundry list of injuries? Like, I just don't know if you can invest in a guy. Like, and then you start thinking, let's just say hypothetically, I doubt he falls to the third round. Doubt, he might not even fall to the second round. But I just don't think the Giants can afford to have two quarterbacks with that hanging over your head. So I just don't think he's a fit for the Giants, Chris.
Craig, when did he hurt that shoulder? Was that was in 22? He had the shoulder surgery? Or
yeah, the knees were back to back, right? Because he was a transfer to Washington. So, like, if you remember when we had interviewed McFadden, he played with Penix that 1 year at Indiana, and they were awesome. That COVID year, right? So, I guess his injuries are all based between 18, 19, and 20, 21, or 19, 20, 21, 22. But,
so, yeah,
he's
got a couple the last 2 seasons. So he's gone injury-free the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
Right. And to Sean's point, obviously, with the stuff going on with Jones, you got to think with that salary, he's gonna play this year, and they're going to add a veteran quarterback. So then you'd be looking at Penix really getting spoon-fed this whole year if they were to draft him, and you're looking at 25, and then you're looking at 3 years of him being pretty healthy without any injury going into 25 if he was to be the incumbent after Jones.
I just don't actually agree with Jay here. I just don't think he's a fit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we screw everything up. You know what I mean? Like because we're either and not because we're dumb. Okay, let me rephrase that. We're either too conservative at the wrong time, or too aggressive. And this isn't a shaming, just the Giants, right? Have a long history of being aggressive when you shouldn't be, being too conservative when you should be. And we definitely, without a doubt, people want to always ask about Mara and how Mara medals. I think that's a little overhyped, but I do find that he is willing to allow his GMs to stick a round peg in a square hole. Draft the tackle, make him a guard. Draft the tight end, make him a fullback. I don't want any of that. So when it comes to starting fresh with a clean slate, don't draft a quarterback with 2 ACLs and a concussion and a shoulder injury. Because when it happens, not saying it will, but when it happens, what do you say to yourself? Why did we do that? We could have taken JJ, we could have taken Rattler, but we took that guy. And then it's a meltdown of epic proportion because we gambled on the wrong guy. They all can throw, Chris. They can all throw. Like, I'm taking the guys that can throw. One guy has basically you're rolling the dice. It doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I want the guy that can throw and feel the pressure and process the game. Be able to sit back there and process, which has been I've been a Jones proponent and in his corner, but one of the knocks on Jones is he doesn't process fast enough. I want a guy that can process downfield.
Yeah. I'm not advocating for Penix. I'm just saying if it wasn't for his medicals,
right?
Because that guy, when you talk about his intelligence and process and anticipation,
hands down,
right? Yeah.
Hands down, Sean. Hands down. We're not even having this conversation.
Yep.
If it wasn't for his medicals, you're taking him at 6.
Yep.
And Craig, is it really taking a big risk if you get him in the second round, one of those 2 picks, and you're allowing him to sit for a whole year? Maybe at that point it is worth the shot.
Again, I'm with you. But can the New York Giants really take a second round pick and get a quarterback that sits the bench when you don't know that in the second round you got to hit 2 home runs? Like, I don't want to. Well, me personally, I don't want to play these games anymore.
I understand, but he is a first round talent with injuries in the past that set him back possibly to the second round because of the being spooked with the injuries. I mean, is that right, Sean? I mean, you're probably more up on it.
Yeah. He's a first round. He's arguably the 1 or 2 top pick at quarterback if it doesn't have his injuries. Because again, the way he throws the ball, he throws the best spiral out of any quarterback in this draft. He's intelligent, anticipation. Like when you watched him on the combine, like he was hitting them. He was letting the ball go before the receivers even made their break. And that's what you want to see. So arguably, he would be the top pick in the draft if not for the medicals.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The Giants have some really hard decisions to make, right? And these are the two pots, guys, that we live in. All right. You've got Jones. He's going to, if he's ready, you don't know if he'll make it. Let's just say he's ready, right? You don't know if he makes it through the year without getting hurt. If he isn't ready, who starts? So you're telling me you bring he doesn't start. You bring and Penix or JJ or these guys start? No, probably not. So the question is, the hardest decision that everyone seems to be kind of pushing to the back is if Jones isn't ready, who starts? Because you can't lose football games because of your backup quarterback.
Craig, I think we already know they're going to get a vet. They're going to get somebody. They've even entertained the idea of bringing back Tyrod. So I mean, they're going to get a vet. That's it. Just depends on who is it going to be. But they're going to get.
You're hosting this show. If they bring Tyrod back, you're hosting this show because I don't want to talk about the New York Giants anymore.
It's another injury situation. I get it. I know.
Guys missed 46 games in 4 years. I'm not doing it.
No, the point is they're bringing in a vet. Tyrod's a vet. The point is they're bringing in a vet, and for the fact that I'm even to mention his name shows you that they are going to bring somebody in. That was my point.
Yeah.
Chris, Chris, I'm a big fan of you, dude. You know I love you, brother. I can't do it. I'll go put his comment on the screen.
Oh, I just saw that.
I can't do it, Chris. Listen. So look, here's what I want you guys. Look, again, you guys are manic and you're crazy and you're awesome. All right. I love seriously because you guys are so up and down. Don't worry, Craig. We'll hate on the offensive line. We do every Monday. This
is 12 years.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We've been doing that since 2016.
Off season and in season.
Right.
Exactly. All I want is when the quarterback goes down or the quarterback isn't available to play, that the guy that steps in can actually win you games. Gardner Minshew was thought of an afterthought, and the Cat won 9 games.
He's not coming.
When the Giants quarterback goes down, Chris, our season's over.
Yeah. I know you're big on Minshew, but Richardson being hurt, they're probably going to re-sign him. I would think they're going to make him.
No. Minshew's not going anywhere.
What I don't remember, and maybe somebody in the chat can remind me, did Allen start right away his rookie year, or did Tyrod start and then Allen came in? I forget. So maybe Mark Thompson, I know you're good at this stuff, so maybe you can remind me. Because I'm telling you right now, if they draft a really good rookie, there's a very good shot he starts right away. Because if it's a competition, that quarterback can come in and beat out whoever's on the Giants roster right now.
Yep. All right. So in order, I'm going to throw these up here. Cold, I'm not turning on DeVito. He's a Goomba like me, but he's not an NFL starter. He's a spot starter. Like, we want this year to win some games. We want a shot at making a wild card, right? We need somebody better, right? Jay says yes, Josh Allen started, so that's that. He did win. Listen, Peace. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying that, like, if we need him to start the first 2-3 games, we can't go 1-2. We can't go 0-3. Give me a guy that's won NFL games, and we just don't have to sweat it every week. You know what I mean? I'm not killing DeVito. He's a fellow Paisan, but he's not the starting quarterback. And then Elite jumped in and says Taylor started first. So we've got conflicting reports. You guys are going to have to look that up and let me know. So either way, we'll figure that out in a minute. I'm sure Mark Thompson will come to our rescue with that. So that's the thing, guys. They just got to make sure, Chris, they have a backup quarterback that can actually play. It can't be a bum, which, by the way, leads me to
and real quick, wasn't Baker and Josh Allen in the same draft?
Yes.
Mayfield, yeah.
Well, then you had Tyrod Taylor in Cleveland. If you remember the Hard Knocks, he beat out Baker, or Tyrod lost to Baker Mayfield, and in preseason, and Baker got the start. So I don't think they played together, Tyrod and Allen.
He was gone already.
He was with Cleveland. Yeah, right. He was with Cleveland with Baker.
Master Will says I mess up. All right, dude. It's all
We all
good.
do. We all do. We all
All
do.
good. But yeah, you guys are asking me questions all over the map, so it's hard to know all this stuff. I do want to remind me. In 5 minutes, I'm going to get to some free agency stuff. So Sean, where are you? Let's put Penix aside.
Yep.
Where are you now with your thought process on 6? Moving up for a quarterback, sitting tight. Where are you?
I mean, here's the thing: if they know their guy and they got to move up, and I think the play is they'll move up to 3. That's the best, 3 or 4. That's going to be the best option for them that they can make work. If they don't, I'm okay with going with a receiver and then getting a quarterback in the second round, or moving back up into the first round to get a guy if they're still there. It's just hard to say because there's so much talk about how many quarterbacks can go in the top 10 now. Like, it's really, really crazy. So, I mean, I want them to get their quarterback, but I don't want them to just take a quarterback. They got to get the guy or their guy. That's my take. And if they can't get that alpha wide receiver, get them.
Okay. All right. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, how much are you going to have to give up to move to 3, right? And then at 3, at least the way, everyone's talking is that it's May. If they're moving up, it's for May. I don't think, I'm assuming that Daniels and Williams go 1 and 2 potentially. I mean, it could be depending on what team is there, right? So there's definitely some jockeying for position there. And Darius says, I don't think McCarthy's really a 6 pick. You know what I mean? Like, so Chris, what's your thought on saying trading out the 6 to somebody that wants to move up for, let's say, Rome, or somebody wants to move up for Neighbors, or somebody wants to move up and the Giants drop back, let's say, pick up an extra pick in the 3rd round. So let's say, and they move to like 18. Can they still get JJ then, or is he gone by then?
I guess they're going to have to really feel out how those first 5 picks go and what their feeling is moving back to see how the dominoes fall in front of them. I think that it's going to be a wait and see. I really do. I think they're going to go on their gut and picking up the phone and trying to see who's moving where, and if they can get that quarterback that they want. If they had to move back, let's say to 18 or what. But I agree with Sean and you. It's such a dicey situation with the receiver spot, the quarterback spot. I just want Shane and Dable to have conviction who they want. Whoever that is, if they want their guy, I just want them to be 100% invested and not necessarily be the second guy, the second choice, and they're like 60, 70% in. I want them to be like 90%, 100% invested in that guy they pick. And set your franchise back 3 to 5 years, and we don't want to go through this again.
Yeah, and I see a lot of stuff in the talk about JJ not at 6. Let me tell you, if you listen to the combine and everybody talking, he is graded higher than all these fans think about JJ.
Yeah, like Craig's
talks they're talking about him going possibly in the top 10, the top 6, top 5 if people are trading up. So there's a lot of talk about JJ. So he's getting a lot of hate from fans and people on Twitter, but the evaluators and everybody else are a lot higher than him now.
So let's break this down real fast just to kind of put this on the table. So in case you guys are trying to figure out why, because Craig, JJ McCarthy, I don't care or what you're looking at, there is no shot he's a 3rd round grade. There is no shot on God's green earth that guy is going in. Listen, how about this, Craig? If JJ McCarthy goes in the 3rd round, you can host a Monday night show right here all to yourself, because that is never, ever, ever, ever going to happen, right? They're coveted. There's only 32 guys in the NFL with this job. It's very hard. The reason why McCarthy is who McCarthy is because he plays in a pro-style offense that pounds the rock. I mean, like, you've got an ex-NFL quarterback as their coach. He's got a big, awesome offensive line with just a complete slasher, boss running back, with really good receivers that block. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily need to throw the ball 20, 25 times a game, but the kid can make all the throws. I am a little bit always concerned about his weight at 200, 205. He's going to have to play in the NFL at 215. It's light. Those guys get wrecked when they're that small. But oh yeah, Jay, great point. And McCarthy ran. What did he say? He run a 4.4, 4.45. Like, so he can move. Not that quarterback speed overly matters, but if you're a guy like Jones or a guy like Lamar, that speed is it's an extra tool in the toolbox. So, but McCarthy's not much of a runner. But what is his best asset? Sean, you know what McCarthy's best asset is?
He wins or his leadership?
That would depending on who you ask. Yes. Leadership and wins, because the kid doesn't lose. The guy, I think he's lost 6 games since he was a freshman in high school. He's got an NCAA record up there with 26-1. Is that he throws really well on the run. He is an exceptional roll-out quarterback that can just throw BBs, right? Yeah. So you guys are going to love the fact that they can get him outside the pocket and he can hit a receiver downfield.
And Craig, sorry to interrupt you, but he measured in at 219 at the combine.
That's insane, by the way, because
he'll put on even more before the offseason comes. So, yeah, he went in just over 219 pounds, and he threw 61 miles an hour.
So it's so weird because, like, they have him listed at 205 in Michigan. Yep. Unless they never change his weight since he was a freshman, then it's just a bunch of smoke. We've all been talking about his weight because nobody really knows what he weighs then, right?
He was noticeably bigger at the combine. Everybody was commenting on it. That was the big thing of what he weighed in on, and it was noticeable that he was bigger. So whatever he was doing in the offseason to get ready for this, it worked well because, again, he was just over 219. So that concern is out the window now too.
So Craig says, JJ's special talent is throwing in the run. Yeah, that's taking a team to the Super Bowl. What are we talking about here? Exactly. I mean, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, left in Monday juice.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely the Monday juice, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm not even going there. So yeah, all right. Throwing on the run doesn't help win games. So all right, Chris.
When you're quarterback in the Giants, it does, because you're never sitting in the pocket long enough.
You're running for your life.
Yeah. And look here, Cold, who's one of the OGs here, right? We're yep, JJ can move, Craig. Don't sleep on it. No way, not sleeping on it at all. We were just defending the fact that he can't. Craig says it doesn't win you any games, doesn't bring you to the Super Bowl. So look, everybody hates on somebody for something. So like, I just wish somehow we could all get on the same page, right? Yeah, exactly, Brad. Tell that to Mahomes. Yeah, man. I'm looking for a guy that's got talent, can read the field, throw the ball, run. I'll take it all. All right. So combine. Saw some good things out of a lot of guys. Like I said, a lot of athletic offensive linemen, a lot of athletic defensive linemen, receivers. Saw some guys definitely, right, that moved up the board, right? The other cat from LSU, the McConkey, couple guys, tight ends. Who knew? The kid from Penn State.
Yeah,
I had no idea, right? Like, so some of these guys could be workout warriors, but they do show. They showed out well.
Yep. And Dunze didn't run as fast, but for his size, like, he did some things at with the gauntlet and other things with top speed that put him up there. And he stayed around and did extra drills to try and improve his. That guy is a alpha. He's a dog, no doubt about it. So it's another guy to not sleep on based on what his 40 time was.
Raymond wants to know, I'll let you guys handle this. Chris, you're a roster like guru. Raymond wants to know if you think the Giants will carry 3 QBs.
They will carry 3 QBs only if they
will they?
They will if they draft the quarterback. Obviously, in the draft, if they draft the quarterback, they will carry 3 because they'll have a vet, they'll have the rookie, and they'll have Jones, and then DeVito. He'll be on the practice squad, and maybe he gets even picked up. 2, if they don't draft the quarterback, then they will carry 2. If they do draft the quarterback, they'll carry 3.
Shawnee, you think DeVito gets picked up by somebody? Did he showcase enough that someone out there plucks him?
Somebody might. I mean, anything's possible. He showed some things. To somebody else might put him on their practice squad, but I mean, I think he'll be on the practice squad for the Giants is my thing, but there's a chance somebody could get him.
Yeah, once injuries start to happen, then guys
Yeah.
start getting picked up.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. Let's talk about free agency. So this is quite interesting. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There have been 10 notable cuts so far. Okay. Those 10 players that have been cut from the February 26th to March 4th, it's basically 2 weeks. Okay. In that period of time, 10 players were cut. This is going to blow your mind. Ready? Think about this number. Those 10 players saved the salary cap $81 million. 10 guys, $81 million. So I'm going to read off these 10 notable players. Tell me if you want any of them. You like them? You want to invest in them or kick the tires. There was one cornerback, which is J.C. Jackson from New England. There's two guards. Of course, the Giants cut Glowinski and the Jets cut Tomlinson. One strong safety, which is Baird from the Eagles. You might pronounce it Bird, but I think it's Baird from the Eagles. One wide receiver, which we kind of knew was going to happen, right? Valdez-Scantling from Kansas City. Two tight ends, Logan Thomas and Jonnu Smith. One tackle, which was Leno from Washington. One defensive end, which was Fatou Koski, if I'm pronouncing that correct. Fatou Koski from Jacksonville. And one running back, which was Matson from Minnesota. Those are the noticeable cuts in the last 2 weeks. Like I said, saving the NFL $81 million. Sean, any of those guys, someone you think the Giants should take a look at?
I think Baird makes sense. He was there with Bowen, and Bowen does a lot of 3 safety looks. So he could be somebody intriguing. That's probably the one name that I would say would look there as far as who's been cut so far. But the other one, I think Leno retired, if I'm not mistaken. His wife put a post out saying he's going to be a stay-at-home dad now. So, but yeah, I'd say Baird. Free safety would be intriguing.
Chris, any of these guys jump out at you? By the way, Gates wasn't on here, and I was pretty sure Gates got cut too.
They're going to do it after the new league year on the 13th. They're going to let him go.
Got it. Any of these guys that have been cut so far intrigue you?
Only because Bowen's a defensive coordinator. Baird, like Sean said, was with Tennessee. That would be the only one, but I would think they're going to let the market settle and see what these safeties are getting and let things play out. So
like someone like Valdez-Scantling, not even no interest, or Matson from Minnesota, in case we need a backup running back, or
I think it's too early. We even did first couple days of listen, the Chiefs who need receivers are letting them go. So that should tell you something right there.
Yeah, right. No doubt about it. And then there's other guys around the league. Chris, give me a team and I'll look it up and I'll tell you who's been cut from that team so far. Give me any team.
So far. Well, you just read the list.
That's only in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, well, okay, because I haven't heard anybody. Okay.
Like, I'll give you an example. Like, from a technical standpoint, Russell Wilson isn't officially gone yet.
Right. Oh, jeez. You tell me. Is there anybody since that list? Because I don't know if there's anybody else.
So I've got every single cut since the season ended, and
okay. I don't know if you're missing anybody.
Ogaba. I mean, he was cut by the Dolphins.
Okay.
So I know. Let's see. Sean, you got a team? Anyone you want me to look at here? Because I'm just scrolling through. Mitch Trubisky. Of course.
Xavier Howard from the Dolphins. Did he get released yet? There was talk that he was getting released.
So the Dolphins cut. Hang on. Let me go to the Dolphins. Dolphins cut Xavier Howard, Ogaba, and that's it from the official cuts. Just those two.
Okay. Interesting.
Let's see. Niners. Go ahead, Shawnee.
How about the Browns?
All right, let's see what the Browns have done so far for official cuts. Texans, Lions, Packers, Broncos, Cowboys, Cardinals, Falcons, Buffalo, Panthers, Jacksonville. The Bengals cut A.J. McCarron. Oh, Browns. No, nobody. Nobody of noteworthy yet. Bengals cut McCarron. Let's see. I already told you about Matson, Trubisky. You guys already know. Here it is. Yes, Gates is on the list. He actually did get cut. He got cut the day before, so he was 3 weeks ago. Shaq Barrett cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the notables. I don't see anyone that really jumps out. I said the biggest guy right now is Barrett. Because he probably has still stuff left in the tank to play.
Yeah, and teams still have another week yet to trim down the cap. So there'll be more coming up until next Tuesday.
And so here's the list of potential cuts. Some eye openers on this list, guys.
Yeah.
Travarius White from the Bills, Joe Mixon from the Bengals. Of course, we know Russell Wilson's gone. Back to carry from the Packers. Cam Robinson from the Jags. Michael Gallup from Dallas. Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders. Joey Bosa from the Chargers. I mean, there's a list of guys here that are either taking massive pay cuts or going to have
Wait.
to go.
Joey Bosa.
Yeah, not Nick Bosa.
Oh, okay. Right. They released Joey Bosa?
No, this is the list of guys that are potentially going to get cut.
Right. Do you think they're going to potentially cut Bosa with
Bosa's only played a handful of games in the last 2 years. He's had back-to-back years of injuries, and they owe him some astronomical amount of money.
I was going to ask you what that salary is in 24.
I have it here somewhere. So let me. I'll look it up and I'll kick this over to you guys.
Brad brings up a good point with the Chargers. They got a lot of work to do with their cap. And he brought up a good point with Mack and Bosa and Williams and Keenan Allen. Like there could be some. Yeah, that's why Bosa doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Potentially there, especially with a new coach. You don't know what he's going to think there on that end. But yeah, Chargers and the biggest one is with what's his name, the Tyron Smith out of the Cowboys. They're not going to re-sign him. Like, let him get free agency. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
Listen. Sign him. Figure out how to put him in. Make the change you need to make. I don't care. Put him in the right tackle. I don't just get him.
Get him before the Eagles get him.
The bookends, man. Figure out a way to make that happen.
I agree with you. That would be something. That would solve a lot of problems. Yep.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. I mean, that's what free agency. That's where you want to go. You want to get. To me, you want to get your edge. You want to get your O line in free agency, and then get some younger guys in the draft as well. So that's a name. You figure out how to make the money work. That's all. You just figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now. I'm pulling it up now because it's like he's owed a ton of money, and let's see here. Okay,
it's like 36 million. No.
Yeah, 36.6 million.
Oh my God, you're right. He's. Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
So between him and Mac, ready?
Yeah.
Between him and Mac, you're talking about $75 million. Between two guys. I mean, come on already, right? So, and like I said, Bosa just hasn't been able to stay healthy. So, I mean, maybe one of them stays. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. All right, guys. So what's free agency's looming? I'm a big fan of the Giants drafting two guards in the second round. I know nobody really thinks that's sexy, but Sean, you and I talked about them grabbing a free agency guard and then drafting one. What do you want to see? Because when free agency kicks off, everyone's standing, by their phones and they're just swiping and they're updating refreshing every 30 seconds. What's the very first move the Giants are doing off the board, Sean? Like, what's the first move? Is it conservative? Is everybody going to be pumped? Like, what's the first move?
I think people will be pumped. They're either going to get a guard or they're going to get an edge. That's my thing. They're either going to get somebody a menu from the Patriots, or they'll get the guy from the Raiders to reunite him with Brasillo. And I think there's a real good shot they go after Huff from the Jets. And I think if you get a guard or you get a lineman, lineman in free agency, you get an edge in free, people will be excited. So that's my prediction.
Okay, I like that. That's bold. Chris, give me your prediction here. Like, what's going to happen? Like, boom, there's that frenzy, right? Within the first, 12 hours of frenzy, and everybody's crying or they're pumped. What's going to happen with the Giants?
And usually you wait for that second wave to get the market settled. But I think the Giants are going to go out hard and heavy after a guard. It's going to be I feel like a Jonas Jackson maybe from Tennessee, or the guy Jeremiah Eleanor from the Raiders. I believe whoever it is, it's going to, or Glasgow from Detroit. I do believe they're going to go hard and heavy after a guard right away.
Sean, this is just fodder to get people worked up into a frenzy, but Russell Wilson is no shot at coming to the Giants, correct?
No, I mean, I don't see them doing that. I mean, he would politic for it just because the marketing and the media and everything here for him and his wife would make sense. I don't see that happening. I really don't. But it would be, I mean, unless he took like a vet minimum to be the backup and a mentor for a rookie quarterback, I don't see any other way that would happen here. I just don't. But he'll want it because he'll want to be in that New York media for his wife.
Wilson's washed. Hate to say it. He's
how about this? I throw this out to you because by all accounts, Washington probably will trade Howell, maybe draft a quarterback. How about reuniting with Dan Quinn when their days in Seattle and bringing him as the vet to start, and then they bring along the quarterback that they draft?
No, Russell Wilson is an albatross, just like Waller is, and a bunch of these guys that are old and done. Like, we just need young blood.
No, I'm not saying Giants. I'm saying Washington. Not saying Giants. I'm saying Washington. Dan Quinn.
Let him go.
Yeah. I'm just saying, watch out. I'm just kind of thinking maybe that could happen.
Oh, my bad. I was like,
no, not here.
Hey, you almost gave Craig a heart attack there.
We might as well carry 4 quarterbacks then.
Hey, his hair started off clean tonight. Now it's messy with all this talk.
I was like,
he's
started to thin out a little bit.
That Mania hair
Started to thin out. Yeah.
yeah, man, you're killing me with that one. I'm like, we got enough washed up old dudes. I don't need any more.
You and Craig, the other Craig in the chats, like Craig's here going to lose his hair.
No, not Giants.
You know what I think? I hope I'm not right. I just have a feeling, and I'm not trying to bring the show down, but I think that, I'm not saying this will happen, but I'm saying if it does, it is a precursor to what the draft will be. If the Giants sign Mitch Trubisky, you could bet your ass they're moving up to get May. Okay. They come from the same program, right? And it's just like a precursor to like, hey, if Jones goes down, Trubisky's an NFL start. Now I have been killing Mitch Trubisky for 5 years. He's been in the league because he didn't stay in school. The guy started 1 year of college football. The last time he started was his senior year of high school, and he couldn't do crap in the NFL because he wasn't a leader of men. He didn't have enough time to be groomed. Now come full circle, I still don't want him on the Giants. But if the Giants pull Mitch Trubisky out cheaply for free agency, you bet your ass that they're going to go get Drake May. I just see it coming. Mark Thompson says that's Craig's twin. Look, I got to put this up here. Look, this is funny. Says that's not another Craig. That's Craig's twin giving himself points to disagree on. That's funny. That's funny. Mark, trust me, you don't want another one of Nick. But yeah, so that Trubisky thing is interesting to me because as much as we've said we liked Browning and we liked who was your guy, Chris, that you liked? I
was just saying Jacoby. I think we threw out Jacoby.
Oh, Brissett. Yeah. One. And by the way, there's been talk. I've seen it on the NFL Network talking about Brissett being, a good backup. You know what I mean? Like, so, that's possible. I want to give a shout out to Chris Peace. I'm going to talk to you guys about what happened today I think it was today, Rich Eisen show, the rumors flying around the combine, people talking to GMs, and I'll start with you, Sean. Rich Eisen, he's well connected, says talking to certain people who are talking to people at the combine that there's quote unquote buyer's remorse on Jones. You put any stock in it? What's your thoughts?
I do. I put the stock into the rumors because it's not just coming from Eisen. You've been hearing it a lot this offseason of Giants are ready to move on, this, that, the other thing. There's a lot of talk at the combine that the Giants are a willing participant to move up and trade up in the draft. So I know it's smokescreen season, but when it's multiple people saying the same things over and over again, I do believe that they're ready to move on and they want to get their guy. Whether or not it happens, because again, it's got to be the right price and everything else, but I do put stock in what he had to say because it's not coming just from him.
I like it. Yeah, because where there's smoke, there's fire. Right? Yeah. So, Chris, same question. Handing it to you. Thoughts?
Yeah, Rich Eisen comes with a lot of, clout. I mean, he seems, he's in the know with the NFL and a lot of these GMs and agents, I guess. But I mean, it's not earth shattering, right? We kind of all figured, Jones is going to play out this year, and then that'll probably be it. So it's just a matter of, he heard that, probably from somebody in between, right? Somebody in the middle. Hey, did you hear what Shane said? I was talking to Shane, and this is what he said. Oh man, I'm frustrated.
Boy, did that bite us in the ass, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it's that earth shattering. We're kind of figuring this is going to be it after this year.
So, I guess we'll wrap up the show a little bit with So I like BB a lot too. As a second round guy, we've had some luck. There's a lot of people out there like Shane hasn't done anything to add to this team. Chris, in my humble opinion, Shane and Daves are going to get 2024 and they're going to get 25. Year one, coach of the year, you make playoffs. Year two, regardless if you paid him or not, you can't help the coach and the GM can't help the guy blew his ACL. Mm-hmm. But when the team was going down the tubes, the coach pulled 4 wins out of the end with, you lost your left tackle, your right tackle, your center, your running back, your quarterback, and still, managed to keep the team together. Right. So what are your thoughts on what they're actually gonna do? What's the right thing for the Giants to do here? What's going to make a difference for this next season?
Well, I'm with you, and I think Dable gets to 26 because if they draft the quarterback, he's going to get 2 more years to make sure it works. I think to make this team better, they're going to draft the quarterback at some point, and it's going to be a guard in free agency, one of the top guards, and it's going to be a guard in that second round. And then fill in spots. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get a tackle as well in free agency. They're going to need a contingency plan for Neal if this doesn't work out. You cannot go into the season with Tyree Phillips, who played really well, but I don't think you can go into the season with Phillips being the backup plan once he gets if he gets re-signed to the Giants and then back.
And if he's healthy, Chris, remember he had that injury. They don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to play.
So I would love to know what Brasillo thinks of watching the tape at this point throughout the whole season. Now he's probably gone through all the offensive linemen that are on the roster. I would love to know what he thinks and his feelings on Neal, if he could make it work at right tackle, or now, you know what? We may have to move him to guard, but we don't know. We're gonna read the tea leaves come free agency if they do get another tackle somewhere out there.
He's trying to think, what the hell did Bobby Johnson do to these guys? That's what he's thinking watching the tape.
Yeah, right. And I can't believe Bobby Johnson is in Washington.
Right.
We're good for 3 or 4 sacks.
He went from the worst O-line to the second worst O-line.
The Giants are good for 3 or 4 sacks each game against Washington. Just the fact that Bobby Johnson is now I would say is now there.
and even crazier is Pugh is like, it really didn't matter. Like he wasn't, it was more about continuity in his eyes. Again, it's one man's opinion, but I think his opinion was they never really stood a chance. You lose AT the first game versus Dallas. You lose JMS in game 2 or whatever it is. So he's putting a lot of stock in that. Bobby Johnson's not teaching us anything new.
No.
But what Bobby Johnson did need to do was he needed to fix Neal, and he couldn't.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and this is what you want to bang your head against the wall. How do you have Azudu, who's never played tackle, now play tackle during the season? Like jump right in and start playing tackle, and he gets eaten up.
Well, not to mention for 2 years they couldn't handle a stunt or a twist.
Yeah.
Like it's not just this year. Last year they were bad too. It was just masked by some other things. So everybody's focusing this year, but it's 2 years of this going on of the same thing. So I'm not until we're in a new season. I am gonna give Bobby Johnson hell for what he did to this O-line. I don't care.
Well, hey, look, it was really interesting. Like, Pugh said some really, really good stuff. You know what I mean? About not only continuity, but making guys playing out of position and on how hard it is. And just the fact that, we got guys on the roster that can't play. They're never on the field, right? So they had to get him off the couch, right? His quote, because guys like Pert can't play. Guys like Lemieux can't play. Like, so, they got to be smarter with their roster spots.
And the negligence is you let Tyree Phillips go to Philadelphia, and then he does well, and you bring him back.
That's the thing.
Basically admitting your fault.
Yeah, he came back better. So that speaks again to that fact. And who's responsible for that lack of continuity when they were rotating positions all preseason? That's got to be Johnson. Daboll allowed it, but that's got to be Johnson, right?
That's his unit. That's his unit. He's with those guys.
It all goes back. And no player's going to speak bad of a coach. We get it. We understand.
He's probably a great guy, right, Sean? He's probably we're talking football here.
And no linemen love the O-line coaches because they're a rare breed. They're weird. Right. So it's the smart thing for him to say. But if you look at the big picture, like it was clear. Like it was clear. And again, for 2 years, you can't handle a stunt or a twist. Like, I mean, that's coaching. That's not on continuity, in my opinion. But there you go.
No, all that makes sense. And like I said, he was very honest. If you haven't watched that Pew interview, I recommend it highly. He's just very straightforward. One, he's a seasoned vet, so he gets it, right? He's more than willing to answer hard questions. He's very direct. He's animated. He's fun to be around. But he really shines some light on a handful of things that I don't think if I interviewed some of these other guys, which we do, you get good answers. But he was like very direct about a lot of stuff, about his weight, about his play, right? About the fact that, he said it, right, Sean?
Yep.
We cannot pick up a stunt.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we do not have the ability to pick it up. And hey, look, and I said to him, look, once the NFL realized you couldn't pick up a stunt and it was on tape, the rest of the NFL just started feeding on it.
Yep. And then they never fixed it. So
yeah. So it's going to be interesting. There is some talk about McKinney looking like they're talking about giving him a contract. Barkley potentially getting a contract now that there's more money in the pipeline. Going to end up the show on something that's what I would call the head scratcher of the week, and that is Kayvon Thibodeau saying, "Hey, listen, let's talk about a revenue share on sports gambling. If you're going to add an 18th week on the season, I think we're owed that. And we should talk about a revenue share." Not only is that absurd, but I don't think he realizes that the enormous boost in the salary cap is directly related to sports gambling. So it is trickling down to him after all. They are all, they have a collective bargaining agreement in place. Like there's no opportunity for them to get checks because of sports gambling. Like why would anyone incentivize, or why would you have any incentive to play an extra game? You could, if you lose, you'd win. If you win, you'd win. Yeah. So you can't ever have. It's a conflict of interest to have players being incentivized by sports gambling. I don't know if either one of you saw it. I understand he's a businessman. I understand they work hard, but they are getting compensated now. And Cold, I'm not the only one that feels this way. He's already getting paid.
And not to mention the Amazon deal, the YouTube deals with the Sunday Ticket. I mean, there's going to come a point And it's been said for a long time, are we going to end up paying for Giant games on a game-to-game basis out of our area? In our area, we're going to have to pay a package just to watch our own teams, and they're going to throw any game on. And if we want to watch the Giants, are we going to have to pay? And that's going to eventually maybe skyrocket revenue even more. That's where this is going. We're going to have to pay for our teams.
Yeah.
That's what I never understand. Why are the fans never mad? Like these guys, they go to school for free, they eat for free. They do everything for free, which is cool. They're doing something that we can't do. I get it. But, like, maybe he can do a little bit of research instead of just, like, trying to have another money grab. Like, you are getting the benefit from the sports gambling.
Here's my opposite take, Craig. I'm sorry. I got to go opposite of you on this one.
You can?
A good point. They revenue share as it is. The players, even with the gambling, get like 48% or something like that. So the NFL wants that 18th game. All right, negotiate, get it 50%. You're getting all part of that. Well, it doesn't determine the outcome of the game. But here's my thing. The NFL is hypocrites. Number one, they talk about player safety all the time. What do? They have all these Thursday night games. Now they want to add an 18th game. They want to do this shit. So as a player, get your damn money, because the NFL is making money off of your backs, does not give two about your health, your safety, none of that shit. They just want to keep adding games because they get more and more money coming in. That's all it's about. So I got no problem with Kayvon saying, let's renegotiate. Let's look at putting in instead of extra week. Let's get the revenue share from that, because they're already getting it. Just up it to 50%, because you're having these guys go 18 weeks and it's just going to be it's going to be not a good product, because the Thursday games are ass, right? So I got no sympathy for any. Get your money. That's
the NFL is just so greedy, right? Before you think about it, before NIL, how much all the college kids, all the NFL kids, just the NCAA, NFL making all this money on their name, their likeness, right? And them never getting a piece of it. So at least they got that in the CBA to allow them to be like, hey, like, how are you making money on my name and I don't get a piece of that?
And to
I'm not cranky. I just don't think I think it's stupid. I just can't get around the fact that, like, I can't do enough research to say, okay, wait, I'm already getting a piece of it. I don't need to say I need a revenue share. You're already getting that money. Do the research, dude. Try open the internet and looking where your paycheck comes from. That's all. Don't be so stupid. Yeah, just say, hey, I'd like the CBA to negotiate a higher percentage of the gambling revenue. But then again, then you have to open up the beer sales. Then you'd have to open up all that other stuff. Like there's ways to make money. It doesn't necessarily have to come from sports gambling, right? And the Thursday night games are ass. There's no reason we even need Thursday night football. Or if you're playing on Thursday, you can't have 3 days rest.
And now they've added Friday. Now you got the day after Thanksgiving game. An opening weekend of 2024, you're doing the Thursday night game, and now the Friday game is going to be the Eagles and I forget who in Brazil. So they're slowly adding more Friday games.
They're Brazil, like they're going, and which is why the cap is going up, and the cap is going to go up again high in 25. I said this last year, and I'm putting it out again. I predicted the cap was going to go up high this year. It did. Next year, it's going to go up high even more because they're doing the game in Brazil. They're going to add this 18th game, so the cap is going to go up. But if you don't know that you're getting they're getting the revenue share from everything. They get a percentage anyway. Beer sales, gambling sales, all of that. They just got to renegotiate to get more. Make it 50-50, because, again, you're not being fair to these guys. You have the Thursdays, the Fridays. You're not having 18th week. You're whatever you're doing in the preseason, eliminating shit. Like, it's bad football, and I believe guys are getting injured because they don't have the preseason. They're not getting the contact in practice, and the NFL just cares about elongating the season so they can make more money.
I think what rubs me the worst too is the roster rules, right? Like, just add more. Like, these guys have to play hurt when they shouldn't have to play hurt, right? Or they're rushed back too early. Just expand the rosters.
Well, the one good thing is they added the practice squad. They doubled that, so that's the positive.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with you.
I'm always back to Sean's point about safety, player safety. Like, I'm always amazed. Like, there's that we've got guys that have to play hurt. They don't get treatment. They're pushed out too early. But just add more guys onto the freaking roster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares if you carry 3 quarterbacks? Who gives a crap? Like, it seems like an antiquated rule. Like, we're just going to keep it 54 to keep it 54. Why?
Yeah, we're not talking
Why?
active on Sunday. Active is not even 54. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, if all the stuff that goes on, all the mad money, speaking of what Cole just was talking about, the mad money that's rolling around, but somebody has this stranglehold on how many guys can play. If I want to carry 90 guys, let me carry 90 guys. Like, it's just,
the NFLPA has got to do a better job with this next contract, or if they can, to get that in there. They got to expand roster size. If the NFL keeps expanding games and how many games are being played, you gotta adjust to that too. So
yeah, I just feel like there's probably some talent out there, Sean, that never even gets on a roster or never gets to play or never gets to showcase what they do because of these antiquated roster rules, right? Like, let's just keep it 54 because, like, somebody give me an absolute why 54 is the magic number, because you can see that it hurts the product on the field because you don't have enough guys or you're pushing out guys too early.
46 is active, right? 46 is active on Sunday, or 48 now? 46?
48.
Is it 48?
And then the practice squad guys.
I'm sure so 54 comes from profit.
Yeah. So to your point, add a few more on the roster and expand the active roster. So on Sunday, maybe you go to 51 or 52, and then you bring it up to 57 for the roster, and at least you're picking up those few extra active guys.
Chris, just put fucking 60 on the damn roster. They
don't want to pay. Crap? They don't want to pay.
It's profit.
That's what it comes down to.
Guys, you got to pay salary
But that's the whole point. If you're going up 22, 30% from gambling and all this stuff, like, there's enough money. Like, you guys are barking up the trees on, like, sports gambling. I'm just saying, let the guy heal when he's banged up.
Agreed.
Put more guys on the roster, for Christ's sake.
Well, and that's why they brought back the injured reserve. You have the 2-week injured reserve, then you have the 6 weeks. So they did change that, which is a good thing because, going back 10 years ago, when a guy was on IR, he was done for the season. So thankfully, they at least, went like baseball where you go on a DL for a couple weeks and you can come back, which was absolutely stupid. A guy, with an ankle, you got to shelf him for the whole year when he would be ready in a month. So thankfully they changed that.
Like, that's where the antiquated rules come in. Like, we can hem and haw like about the sports gambling stuff like that. Like, I just don't think Kayvon his approach to it was very intelligent. I think it made him look like he should know that he's got a portion of that now. But here nor there, like, whatever. Like, he's probably just spitballing. But when it comes down to, like, real or player safety, give me a break.
Yeah,
it's been decades with these guys playing hurt and injured or whatever. Like, let them get paid, but let them also heal and come back and play at 100%. And don't hamstring the teams, you know what I mean, from winning or being successful, right? Because it's always about cap management, but it's also about roster management. Mm-hmm. Mark wants to know how I feel about 18 games. I hate it. Mark. 16 games was fine. The league keeps getting greedier and greedier and greedier. 16 games was fine. There was nothing wrong with 16 games. On top of the fact that, like, in some places, going to a football game in February sucks. It's cold. It's nasty. It just sucks. It's not fun. At the end of the day, Mark, I'll let these guys answer the question, is the fan always loses. The fan is the least common denominator, Mark. And guess what? If 78,000, 82,000 people didn't show up to Giant Stadium, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. So go ahead, guys. Mark wants to know about 18 games. Chris, what do you think about 18 games?
As a fan, I love it. 18 games, you get that President's Day weekend, and you get off the next day, because it would probably fall on that weekend. But I don't think it's necessary. Selfish reasons, it's great, but I like that at 16. I do like the extra games, but it's all about the money. As long as we keep buying the jerseys and going to the games, like you said, they're going to just keep calling the shots. And obviously, with the collective bargaining agreement, NFL has a lot of power and a lot in their favor when it comes to the bargaining agreement.
Fans always lose, man. Fans always lose. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I like the 16. I think you go to 18, those first 2 weeks are going to be like the extended preseason now, and you're going to get bad football and not a good product. And I don't like it at all. I do, to Chris's point, though, I do like the fact that the Super Bowl ends up being on that Sunday and you get the President's Day off the next day. So maybe that has to go into it, but No, I don't like 18 games. I like 16.
It-
I mean, that
it-
was,
it-
Craig, you were around when they went from 14 to 16, weren't you?
That's messed up, dude. That's messed up.
That was 8 to 10. I think he was there.
That's
to
just
12.
wrong, man.
Day
Wrong.
games.
I
Didn't
want
have
to get your
lights.
take on that.
All 1 o'clock games.
Just wrong. These guys are supposed to be my friends, okay? Just wrong.
We're all in the same wheelhouse. We can talk. We can say
Yeah, we're all around the same age.
Yeah. Cover it. Backtrack out of that
Spartan's
one.
not here. Spartan's like 25. He's not here. Don't worry.
Right,
The old guys are here tonight.
right. No, Alex. No
Yeah.
Spartan,
You can't even say Joe Montana around Spartan. He's like, who? Who's that guy? But yeah, I'm always a fan of fans getting something back. I'm very fortunate to have season tickets, but let me tell you, it's not easy paying for them. It's not easy having them. They don't make anything easy getting in the stadium, out of the stadium. Chris knows too. I thought in 2024 the fans would get more and they get less, and they think the NFL thinks they're giving you more, but they're not. You're just making you pay for it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like making people stream to watch that Kansas City Chief game on Peacock was just wrong. I mean, like it's almost like the fans need their own CBA. You know what I mean? Because it's just wrong on how they just take advantage of the fans, man. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yep.
Exactly. Leather helmets. Craig was around when it was 10 games. Man, that's it, Thompson. You're rolling in with the rest of these
The goalposts were on the goal line.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And we called it pigskins, and we had one bar.
Joe Theismann helmet.
Exactly.
Right,
so,
right.
well, look,
old days.
I'm looking forward to what the Giants do moving forward. I know you guys are too. We've got Ryan Dunleavy coming up in a couple weeks. I'm going to leave you with this because you don't have to answer it now because I don't understand it. Why does everyone get jacked up and juiced up for the beat reporters instead of the actual players? I can't figure out. I'll put on Patty. I'll put on Paulie D. I'll put on Dunleavy, and the views go through the roof. Everybody's debating. Everybody wants to fight. They're shirts over the head. Guys are knocking each other out, right? Going crazy when the beat writers are on. But when I put the players on, you guys don't show up. I can't figure out, why does it matter so much what the beat reporter says more than the player says? That's what I can't get, because the beat reporter's job is to interview the player. I'm cutting out the beat reporter and I'm giving you the interview with the player. So I'm just curious on why you guys are so excited, which, hey, I'm cool with it. I'll bring the beat reporters on every week if I can. Just wondering what the allure is, why you guys get so fired up for the beat reporter. So something to think about. Let me know at a later date. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow Sean. Make sure you follow Chris and the rest of the team, Truth and Spartan and Alex. These guys will be out there with Rush Hour. I think, I only do one show a year, which is the tight ends. That's the only show I do. That's my jam. It's always been my jam. So I do tight ends. This year's tight ends, not as good as years past, but there is some intriguing plays there, like Sean mentioned about the cat from Penn State. So there is some intriguing tight ends out there. And lastly, remember what we call a customer appreciation night is basically the draft. All right. So we are, Cole, that's so mean, Cole. You know what? That's so wrong, dude. It's wrong. That's so mean, man. Wow. You know what I'm saying? It's so mean. So wrong, dude. Why you gotta hurt my feelings? I bruise easily.
And Cole, I won't be on for another couple weeks now that you said that, man. Come on.
Exactly.
Hey, Craig, could I add one more thing to your tight end draft analysis? I think you should add fullbacks. You should do a 3-minute draft profile on fullbacks.
Just go over the 6 fullbacks that are available.
The top fullbacks coming out in the draft. How many juniors are skipping senior year to enter the draft as a fullback?
Oh, that's hysterical. Maybe I'll add that on there. I'll be like, and Bill Smith from Tulane trying to get on a team. You'll find him bagging groceries at Walmart if he does not get an offer.
Man.
Oh, Cold, you're killing me today. That's so wrong, dude. But we were tight.
And Craig, can I just mention something about this Sunday?
Yeah, sure, of course.
So I'll be on Rush Hour Sunday. So whether you like what I have to say or don't like what I have to say, check it out because we're going to be talking about edge rushers, and it should be a good show. So I'll be on with Truth and Spartan this Sunday. So
awesome. That's very cool. I got tight ends coming up. Chris and the boys. What'd you guys do? You guys did offensive line this past week, right?
It was actually just tackles, which was a big group last night. Yep, just tackles.
Yeah. So in case anybody's new to the show, we do Rush Hour where Truth is basically that's his baby. And we break down positions. So we do like top 5 players, top 10 players, top 15 players, of availability who's going to be in the draft. Cold, I'm banning you, Cold. I'm gonna have to ban you. You're just cold hearted. Oh, maybe that's why they call him Cold because he's got
rapid fire.
Exactly, he's killing me tonight. Love you, Cold. It's all good, man. And then so if you have an interest in being on the draft show, since it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it is 3 long days, but we try to put on. I don't know, Chris. How many did we put on last year? Do you remember?
At least 20, 25 people, right around there. 25?
I think it's got to be more.
Maybe 30. Sean, weren't you last year? You were on, right?
I was on day 2 last year. Yeah, I was on as a guest day 2. I was on the year before that too. Day 2.
Maybe over 40 because you had 15 maybe a day, right? Maybe 15.
There was like 15 or 20 when I was on last year. From what I remember on that Friday. Yeah.
So for anybody new to the show, or even you OGs out there, like Cold is like the oldest OG we have. It's from like I'm not sure. Somehow he got turned on to Rush, and somehow he's latched on, and he's been hanging out with us since. So we put 15 to 20 on every night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday's always like, are we going to do a show or not? But we put you guys on to chat up. Chat about the draft picks and so forth. So we'll invite you guys. If you have an interest, let us know. Yeah, Mark, I will definitely try to get McFadden back on. Bellinger, I think Mark Thompson asked about Bellinger. I've had no luck. His agents basically kind of shut him down for whatever reason. I think a little bit of it was they just kind of kicked it back because Waller came on, so they didn't overexpose him. But we'll see how that works. I'm always trying to get him back. I'm only watching if Nails and Shawnee are on the show from now on. You know what?
His dad checks in with us, Craig, with me. His dad, Frank. Nice
Frank
guy.
Bellinger,
yeah. He checks in.
Yeah,
Maybe we can go through him.
Cole is killing me nonstop, so that means I have to end the show because I'm gonna cry. Can't take it anymore. He's killing me. Sean, this is all your fault. You started this whole thing.
Listen, the Joker. You know what the Joker does. So there you go. Cause chaos. Yep, there we go.
It's all good, man. Appreciate all you guys for hanging out. Definitely check out what those guys are doing on Rush Hour, nygiantsrush.com. Check out the store, check out the stories, and we'll see you guys next week. We're out. Peace.